Off the top tonight at 6, extensive storm damage across West Michigan today. Powerful wind gusts took down trees and power lines, damaging homes and damaging cars.
And this newscast has special coverage of these storms this morning. They started to move through West Michigan before sunrise, with the National Weather Service issuing a severe thunderstorm warning with the potential to be destructive.
So we begin our coverage tonight with Chief Meteorologist George Lessons, who lets us know what's happening next, but also taking a look back at how we got here from this morning. George.
Yeah, last night at 5:30 and 6, we were talking about those storms coming in from the northwest. They did develop as we thought they would. Around 10 o'clock, they started to bubble up in northwest Wisconsin. They were reaching the Green Bay, Wisconsin area right around 2 o'clock in the morning, so no worries there, but we said they'd come into West Michigan after about 4 o'clock, and there's the leading edge of those storms. The first line coming on shore and hitting the Grand Rapids area first, but the back edge of that line raced it through Muskegon County at 6 a.m., causing all that damage, and it caught up to the main line. So we had a couple of severe thunderstorm warnings with that destructive tag, with wind gusts to 70+ miles per hour. All those storms are now well to our south. Here are some of the wind gusts, 70+ in Norton Shores and just to the northeast of there at 71. Many areas seeing 50+ mile per hour winds all across West Michigan. Total of 107,000 area-wide for Consumers Energy. Here in West Michigan, we have 85,000, increasing as well. And you can see the numbers are still going up in many locations. Storm reports as of about midnight last night, you could see them pushing to the south and east, 162 up till 8 o'clock this morning. And then since then, we've had another 82, all pushing down to the south in the Ohio Valley. Severe thunderstorm warnings. We have now new impact tags. We have the radar indicated or base with 58+ mile per hour winds, a considerable threat for severe thunderstorms is 70+ miles per hour, and the National Weather Service issued the destructive tag here during the morning with 80+ mile per hour winds. You're going to hear more about these impact tags coming up in the future. Looking ahead to next week, 4th of July, that's on everybody's mind. We'll have that later on.
Some campers in Muskegon County watched as the destruction happened all around them. Meteorologist Samantha Jacks joins us now live to show us their close call, Sam.
Yeah, Julia, Elena, we have since relocated to Veterans Memorial Park, just a couple miles up the road. And that's because at Pioneer Park, the campground where all of the damage happened, there was so much damage and so many power outages that we couldn't even get a signal to send back to you all at home. But it was those 70-mile-per-hour wind gusts that gave campers only a moment's notice to react.
Well, about 5 o'clock this morning, we were, both sleeping off and on because you could hear the rain and the wind, and all of a sudden the whole inside of the tent just expanded and you heard this massive whoosh and the tent started to collapse.
Collapsed on my side first.
Yep.
And then I was able to yell to him, jolting him, and he moved just enough to miss that tree that came down on his pillow.
This area right here, this is where my head was.
No.
Yeah. And I could feel the tree on my shoulder as I was sliding off the cot.
Rich and his wife Patty then had to crawl out of this tent. The first thing crossing their mind, where's their family? It's a family reunion that was all happening just to the right of me, but you can see his brother's tent completely encompassed by trees. Thankfully, none of them were hurt. And this was just the start of the damage here at Pioneer Park. One couple just up the road started their evening celebrating their 27th wedding anniversary, and of course woke up to a very different morning.
It was probably about, 5:30 in the morning. And I was sitting in the camper looking out the side window, and I could see the trees kind of bending sideways, and I was like, oh no, this isn't good.
And I just made a quick comment like, I hope a tree doesn't fall on our camper. Like, that would be awful.
And then we heard the crack, and then I was lodged down onto the floor by something that had hit me. And I was just talking and trying to listen to see if everybody else was okay.
What's going through your head in a moment like that?
Well,
survival.
Yes. First of all, you wait to hear to make sure that he's speaking. He's waiting to hear that I'm speaking. And then when we're both knowing that we're okay, then I'm like, where's the year-old puppy that we have in the trailer with us? And she wouldn't come.
She was scared.
She was scared. She was shivering. I literally just kind of grabbed her collar and I thought, well, if I injure her this way, it's going to be better than her, being in that trailer. We left in the pouring down rain. We prayed the whole way that God would provide a road for us to get through so that we could get home to check on our kids. We went through some rough roads, but we did get home.
Storm damage encompassing this entire campsite. Even look at this, a tree branch that pushed straight through the camper. You can even see surrounded by the insulation of the camper itself.
It was a traumatic
ride,
but
thankful that we're alive
and
possessions can be replaced.
Absolutely.
And so incredibly grateful that nobody at that campsite was hurt. But of course, the damage didn't stop there. Again, just a few miles up the road where this very large tree completely toppled over, taking out a power pole. And we're seeing sites like this all across North Muskegon, trees on top of power lines and on top of homes. Of course, continuing our coverage to make sure that we were able to get a clear picture of what happened in this area. Reporting live from North Muskegon, I'm meteorologist Samantha Jacks.
Whitehall in Muskegon County has some of the most extensive damage.
13 on your side's Jeremiah Brown spent the day in that area and shows us what it's like.
Well, Julia and Elena, we're here at Spring Valley Estates, like you said, in Whitehall, which is one of the most hardest hit areas. Just take a look at this home right here. If you can see through the trees, there's a tree sitting on top of the home, but actually behind the house, there is a gashing hole where a tree went through, where we can see right into the bedroom. We actually spoke with the homeowner earlier who said he was sleeping when the storms hit. He said his wife screamed for him to come downstairs. He got up, went out of the bedroom. He says he got into the hallway and was about to go back inside to grab some clothes when boom, he said there was just a puff of insulation everywhere as the tree came down. Fortunately, himself and no one else was hurt, but just take a look down this road in this neighborhood. Actually, at that brown house at the end, there's a car that has been crushed by a fallen tree. Now, of course, you can see lots of just down tree limbs everywhere. This has been a scene all across Muskegon County as we've been going in different neighborhoods here in Whitehall. We've actually had a lot of difficulty just getting around throughout the day just because of the amount of trees that are down and the amount of roads that were blocked. Fortunately, you know, we've been seeing lots of road crews and first responders out clearing those roads, even just neighbors in certain communities coming together to get those roads clear. Of course, we advise, you know, everyone's advising just lots of caution in these neighborhoods, especially if there's down power lines and down phone lines. And of course, here in this neighborhood, at least, everyone is just waiting for, you know, their next steps. Spirits have been pretty good though. Everyone's saying it's fortunate that no one was injured. Even though people don't have power, they're outside cooking food, making sure everyone has, you know, necessities, even people getting clean clothes for some of their neighbors who might not have access to their clothes right now because there's a tree that went through their bedroom. So with that, we're gonna have more from the storm impacts on Whitehall here later this evening. We're gonna send it back to you, Julia and Elena.
Jeremiah, thank you. And once again, Muskegon County has activated its Emergency Operations Center. Emergency management officials held a news conference this afternoon updating their cleanup efforts. 13 on your side's Micah Cho was there and joins us now live with the very latest. And Micah, there's a lot of work still to do.
Yeah, absolutely. Kind of like clearing trees like this off of these roads. We're off of South Dangle Road here in Muskegon County. As you can see, this tree is down and it's brought down an entire power line on the other side. And we're going to try to keep our distance from it here. But on the other side of this fallen tree, we can see a power line is going straight across a neighbor's driveway over here. And earlier this afternoon, around 50% of roads in Muskegon County were impassable, kind of just like this one. However, it is only just one lane closed. That was mainly due, again, to obstructions in the roadways like this. Richard Hauptman, a spokesperson for Consumers Energy, said in today's press conference that crews will be working 16-hour shifts to help restore power to neighbors across Muskegon County. 40,000 people have already seen restorations this afternoon, and when you see down trees like this or power lines, Michigan State Police Lieutenant Michelle Robinson says leave the cleanup to the professionals.
It's a really difficult situation right now as we have those down power lines. We want to ensure that no one is clearing any debris off a roadway or anything along that so that they're not causing damage to themselves or harm to themselves from trying to access these the debris and the lines that might be in those debris.
Earlier this afternoon, we were also told that 2 people were seriously injured during this storm because of falling trees. One person, I guess, was out jogging earlier this morning when a tree fell and hit him. No word on what their condition is right now. Reporting in Muskegon, Micah Cho, 13 on your side.
A Muskegon flower shop that's been in business for 144 years is in the middle of the damage. 13 on your side's Lauren Baker talked with the owners of Wasserman's Flowers and Gifts. She joins us now live. And Lauren, they were not closed today?
No, they weren't, Juliet. They actually decided to stay open because they had things they had to still do. But I want to show you some of the damage we're seeing in the Nims neighborhood. That's where the flower shop is located. If you see behind me, this tree fell, just knocked completely down by those winds. It looks like a tornado came through this area, but it was just those winds. You can also see this other big tree leaning to the side. And if you look over here, this pole that holds a power line snapped in half. You can see some of the lines still dangling. Crews actually had to come and tape off this area because people were still traveling around this area, and it's not safe to be close to a power line like this. Now, just down the street is Wasserman's, and when we spoke to them, they said that they were very scared about what they saw when they saw this morning, but they thought it's something we can't handle.
Wasserman's. Orders are still coming in.
Making people happy.
And floral arrangements are still being made even after Mother Nature planned challenges for Wasserman's Flowers and Gifts.
Well, I knew the power was out because I get a notification on my phone when the coolers go down, so I knew the power was out, so I was coming here early anyways, but then on the way out of my neighborhood, I'm like, whoa.
That's Troy Wasserman. He's the co-owner of the shop and was the one who discovered this giant tree that fell on the business. It knocked out the power, and he instantly told his sister, co-owner Angie Wasserman Nealand.
Went downstairs, grabbed the phone, and noticed that he had texted me some pictures of the inside of the building with a lot of merchandise laying down on the ground and smashed, which we think was the vibration of the tree hitting, and then sent me pictures of the tree. And right away, everyone who received the text from here was like, okay, we'll be right there.
They said their crew adapted by using candles and one light to put the arrangements together. But it wasn't only their crew that was worried about the business. They say community members and other businesses chimed in, asking if they needed help.
It's very nice to know that the community cares so much about each individual business and then also about all the people too.
And with the power still out, the roof still leaking, and possible other damage, these two say they won't let any storm rain on their parade and stop them from getting the job done.
Every day there's something new.
Weathering the storm for 144 years, right?
And the good news is that right now crews are actively at the shop removing that tree. Hopefully that tree is removed sometime today or tomorrow. Reporting live in Muskegon, I'm Lauren Baker, 13 on your side.
And parts of Grand Rapids were also hit by this morning's storms, with power lines down and trees on homes and in the roads. Their 10-year side's John Shelbertus was in the city this morning to get a look at the damage and also spoke to the city's emergency manager about what they're seeing and what they're telling residents.
This was the kind of scene many in Grand Rapids found after severe storms swept through the area Tuesday morning.
We had a lot of impact in regards to trees coming down, wires down. We did have a few structure fires that our fire department did respond to, but we within a couple hours we were able to get things under control pretty swiftly.
One person near this scene on Ashland Avenue had their car crushed under the weight of a fallen tree. As the city's emergency manager said, wind gust speeds reached into the upper 60s. For this home off of Maryland Avenue, their tree landed on the roof. And on the city's southeast side that was hit particularly hard, stoplights and city buildings without power.
So we're asking everyone to treat any dark signals or intersections as a four-way stop for safety measures.
While crews were able to move quickly, the city's emergency manager saying it's an example of why to sign up for the city's emergency alert system to keep one step ahead.